boy. Okay, so yeah, I said I would make another video today, trying to catch up because all of the May stuff and then going into June. And I did review, or I talked about, what was it? I had Michael and Mortal Kombat, and then Mandalorian. Those were my 3 movies yesterday, but I got 3 more. So I made a whole separate video just for these ones. Again, these are all movies I saw in the movie theater, so lots going on right now. We watched Masters of the Universe. That's another M, right? That's 4 M's in a row. So Masters of the Universe is going to be the first one I get into, even though I saw 2 movies before that. I'm going to talk about that one because it starts with an M, and we're on the M train right now. So Masters of the Universe is He-Man, obviously. I wasn't really planning on seeing this movie, but I don't know. We had nothing better going on a Saturday night, which is tragic and depressing, but at the same time, that's fine. We went and saw the movie. It was actually a lot of fun. It's kind of got a lot of self-aware comedy to it. It lets you laugh along with the movie. It's not making too much fun of itself, and at the same time can be serious. It has a lot of really stupid jokes that don't always hit, but they often do. And like I said, it's self-aware of just how goofy the whole He-Man Masters of the Universe thing is, and it doesn't like try to hide that. It sort of leans into it, maybe a little too much at the same time. Growing up, I wasn't a He-Man guy. It was around, but we were into Star Wars at the time, and then went straight to G.I. Joe, and then Nintendo. So we kind of skipped over He-Man, but I was in the He-Man area, sphere, whatever. Like, I had friends that had Skull Mountain or Castle Grayskull and Snake Mountain, and I remember Battle Cat, and I remember all those weird designs. And I didn't like He-Man too much because I thought it was a little too far out there. Even as a kid, I thought so, and I thought the action figures were too big versus the Star Wars and the G.I. Joe. Because of that, we just didn't get into it. But I'm aware of all these guys. I know who they are, and seeing Trapjaw, like, oh, that's that Trapjaw guy. They definitely give some of the cooler characters more time, like Trapjaw, which I thought was they understood that he's a cool design, so they kind of went with him. Beastman gets his scenes and stuff like that, and obviously Skeletor is a big deal, and Skeletor might be the best part of the movie. He is hilariously portrayed in a like comically villain way, and it's like very aware of that, and even Skeletor's leaning into that. There's parts where he's saying things that are not appropriate, and that's where I don't know, it kind of feels like it's silly enough to be a kid's movie, laughing at itself enough that the adults might be able to enjoy it as well as the kids. But there's stuff in there that I don't know, it's a little too much for kids, I think, or at least I don't know, maybe, what do I know? I just saw a dead raccoon. That thing was huge. So yeah, I don't know, maybe it's a kids movie, but it kind of felt like an adult kids movie. I guess that's more of an appropriate way to put it. Like, it's more for adults, but it's for adults who remember being kids and played with He-Man. Skeletor was hilarious. His comical, over the top villainy, and I don't know. There's times where there's like almost a little bit of like a play vulnerability to him, and you can see how he belittles everyone around him. I don't know, it was fun. He's a classic villain, and clearly they leaned into it. He-Man, Prince Adam, there's way more Prince Adam than He-Man, and maybe too much. I think the movie could use a little more action. it spends a little too much time kind of like contemplating and taking the time. It really leans into the fact that he worked for HR and all that HR stuff, and it was fun, but maybe a little more action, a little less of that. But I did like how that was clearly an underlying factor to He-Man, is that he understands HR. He's good at it. He's good at being an HR rep, an HR business partner, or whatever. Like, that was kind of funny. And let's see, the other hero guys like Mechanic and all them, I'm like, they really played with them and it was fun. But making inappropriate jokes like fisting and Ram Man, there's like little comments they make that are clearly not, probably not for the kids. I don't know, but it was fun anyway. The soundtrack was really good for the movie. You could see that, there's this thing where they kind of take classic music and put them in movies to make them more fun. That seems to be a trend they've been doing for 10 years now, more than 10 years. And this is kind of playing by that book, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. I do think that they're trying to really, clearly this thing is emulating like the 80s fantasy sci-fi stuff. There was Queen in the movie, and I believe it was the Highlander song that they used, but it almost had more of a Flash Gordon kind of nature to it, even though it was the Queen song was for Highlander, and but it was used almost in that kind of way. I don't know. And there was a theme. There's like a theme song to the He-Man thing that they made here. I didn't recognize it, but by the end of the movie, you hear that theme so much that it suits the movie. I would have, if I were them, I would have played the cartoon opening at the very end. Like, it was almost teed up for it. It was ready. They should have just went in for that song and ended like the final fight with Skeletor with that, right? But they didn't. They did play it for like the credits, so they did give homage to it with that. The other thing about the soundtrack that really got me, and it seemed weird and inappropriate for a He-Man movie, but it was cool either way, was at one point when he's still on Earth, I could hear just the Boys Don't Cry by The Cure, kind of like they're using the guitar chords there, but they're using it in the soundtrack like very slowly. I'm like, wait a second, that's The Cure. And then they played the song, and I'm like, Boys Don't Cry? Interesting choice for a He-Man movie, but it worked. It was cool. There is post-credit scenes that are actually very fun, so they're worth sticking around for, I guess. Usually, sometimes they're not. Sometimes they're a waste of your time. At this time, pretty good. So He-Man, it was a fun movie. I like Mortal Kombat and He-Man both were just fun. They're kind of stupid in the same way, but fun. And I think they're worthy of seeing if you got nothing better to do. And you're not going to regret. I didn't regret seeing them. I thought they were fun movies. Okay, last two movies, and I actually saw these before He-Man, but wow, both of these are fantastic movies. And everybody's talking about Obsession. That movie is great. I loved Obsession. I didn't think I was going to like it at all. Well, I didn't think I was going to. I kind of went in cold. We were going to see one of my coworkers from Japan is going to a different facility, and this is it. He's been here for years. So we were going to go have a dinner with him, but we got to town early, and I was like, I heard everyone's kind of saying, go see Obsession. So we went and saw Obsession, and you know what? Great movie. It was so good. It's a comedic horror movie. I don't know how much, like, if you're going to go see the movie, I would suggest going in cold. Just go in cold. You kind of don't really know what you're getting, because it was an interesting, like, dynamic setup thing that they do, and the way it works so well. Like, they knew how to make the movie just funny enough in its ridiculousness, but menacing. Like it's funny because of the menacing nature of things. So I don't know if you're planning on going and seeing this without any kind of whatever. By now everyone's seen it, so I guess it doesn't matter. But the story is that he's this awkward guy who likes a girl, and he doesn't know how to tell it to her, and they're all kind of coworker friends, and it's all weird and awkward. And he buys this the One Wish Willow novelty, and things fall apart. He ends up using it to ask for her to fall in love with him or love him, and it works. But now she's like cursed. It's like this curse on her where she's forced to like be obsessed with him, and it's like awful. And it's great because like he didn't really want that. He's not the bad guy here, not really. He's just really stupid. And even then, like, who would blame him? It was a novelty. Like, who would expect this to do this? And she's clearly the victim here. Like, she's somewhere underneath all that. There's little signs that she's against this completely. And just her facial reactions and the way the way her obsession manifests, and like, it's hilarious. It's hilarious. It's awful, but hilarious. And yeah. I mean, and it understands the tension beats with comedic, like, jarring aspects. Like, you could hear in the theater, because when we saw it, it had only been out a couple of days. So I think a lot of people hadn't seen it yet, and I don't think anyone saw it when we went to the movie theater. But you could hear, I was laughing the whole time. But by the end of it, everyone's, like, laughing at this stuff, because it's just so ridiculous. And at the same time, it's very serious. And kind of unnerving and unsettling with like how far things go, but it's just so ridiculous that it's funny. If you have not seen Obsession, go see it. There's no reason not to go see Obsession. This movie is so funny. So yeah, it's a good time. It's a really good movie. I walked out of that movie just thinking like, wow. I haven't enjoyed a movie that much in like years. I don't know. I can't remember the last time I enjoyed a movie that much. So, yeah, this is like I would say, 4 or 5 out of 5. It's like, it's a winner. Go see Obsession. And that said, the movie I was kind of looking forward to was Backrooms. I didn't think anything of Obsession, but I've kind of been watching Backrooms and going, maybe that'll be good. I don't know, it's about time. I thought it would be some cheesy, like, low effort, just grab at making a horror movie kind of thing. I was expecting it, but just from the trailer of it that was previewing before movies, some of the other movies that we saw in May, I was like, it kind of seems cool. So I was looking forward to that. We went and saw that just a couple days ago, and that movie is really good. Like, it's up there with Obsession, but in a totally different way. Whereas Obsession is more of a horror comedy that really leans into the absurdity of what it's doing for comedic values, but still remaining kind of horrific and brutal. Backrooms is almost more like analysis. So there's like two protagonists kind of that sort of work together. It's the owner of the I don't want to give too much away either, because obviously it's a good movie and you should go see it. But they have like traumatic things in their lives that they're sort of holding on to, and the Backrooms like symbolizes that not necessarily the like in like some like recreation of their trauma, but it's sort of it's like a simulation of it in a way. Like, not, I guess like I'm sounding like I'm being contradictory there, but it kind of is like they can feel that trauma in the Backrooms, not not like it's recreating it, but there's like this reminder by the way that the Backrooms is complicated yet simple and very claustrophobic, even though it's massive and chaotic. And it's really cool that it's like he describes it as just like if you were to describe a dog to somebody and they would draw it, how it wouldn't really look like a dog, but it would sort of look like a dog. Like that's a good analogy of it. And they bring those kind of traumas with them. And I don't want to give too much away, but one of them, I don't know. Okay, I don't know. I've been thinking about this movie ever since I saw it. My interpretation of it is one of these protagonists cannot let go of their trauma. They embrace it. And the other one is not really fully aware of how much they have embraced it. And I like the ending because the ending is, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't get into that, but I think you should see the movie. But it's my kind of ending. It's the movies that have these kind of endings. I always think as long as they do it right, it's great. And that's where there's not a clear like easy win here. There's like it's the kind of ending that makes you think more and more about it. I could say more, but I think honestly, if you have any inkling to go see this, you should. Backrooms is a very good movie. It's interesting that it's a great contrast to Obsession. Right now, those are the two big movies, I think, is that if you're going to go to the movie theater, go see these, because both of them are well thought out. They feel like movies that have value and that have something going on in them that you can really take with you. Particularly with Backrooms. Backrooms is a movie that I've been sort of chewing on a lot. And maybe not necessarily, I don't think it's like a David Lynch movie where you really have to watch it a few times to analyze what is this really about. But there's like this, just the way they do it and just the way they use the Backrooms as almost this symbolic purgatory thing. And it's so interesting the way they did that, and the little clues and the little hints. Not a lot of this is explained. You kind of have to figure it out, and there's still some things about it I don't necessarily get, so maybe there is a level of rewatching involved. But particularly, like I said, one of the protagonists has that ending that they fully embrace their trauma and just don't want to let go. The other one, I think, didn't realize that they were still in it the whole time. And you see that moment where they catch on to that, and that's so cool. And it was even kind of foreshadowed a little bit, I guess, early on. I kind of, maybe I should see it again. This is a movie that maybe I'll buy it when it comes out and watch it a few times. It's very good, and I'm shocked and surprised that we've had such good movies kind of out of nowhere, just bang, bang, back to back. Like, wow. I didn't think we could make good movies anymore. I didn't think that was even possible. But somehow we did. And now I'm really happy about it. Like, I feel like I haven't had such a good time at the movies in a very, very long time, in years maybe. Like, this was great. So 2026 has been a great year for movies overall. I think if I just think about all the movies we've seen, there's only, like, Mandalorian and Grogu was the only one that was a real big disappointment. Like, and I mean, how disappointing is that even, really? Like, Star Wars has not been good in decades. So, I mean, what did we really expect? What did I expect? But other than that, not a lot of bad movies. Pretty good movies overall. I mean, even, what was it, Super Mario Galaxy? I mean, it was a kid's movie for sure, but it was fun. It had that Star Fox, like, Fox and Cloud. That was cool. So, yeah. Go see Backrooms and go see Obsession if you have not already, because those movies are great, and you're doing yourself a disservice if you don't go see them. At least I think so. So, go see them.